Greeting, traveler.
I have no time for games.
The end is coming! Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
You require my assistance? Adingo! We're gonna be rich.
I have no time for games.
Inferno! You require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
All right, hello THL, hello and welcome. Oops, we are not on the correct screen there. And welcome to Tavern Talk. My name is Dr. Fish, and I've got my usual co-host alongside me. We've got Geranium Battle. Hello, sir.
Hello, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The patch week is some of the most exciting parts of Hearthstone, and just get to see all the new strategies. So I'm really looking forward to what people are going to come up with.
Yeah, and unfortunately this week, JR will not be joining us. He is a bit caught up with work stuff, which is understandable. Always nice to take a break as well sometimes. So we do have a guest this week. We have Mr. Nice Jewish Owl, or Milo. Welcome to the show, friend. My
Hello.
Yeah, my Thursday Throwdown co-caster is now on Tavern Talk for tonight. Um, so before we get into the matches, we have a patch that just came out that was announced today alongside the Wailing Caverns mini set. I want to first kind of at least mention the two nerfs and the one, I guess, change. It's kind of a play around of potential for what could happen if the card was left the way it was. We have First Day of School, which is nerfed from add 3 random 1 cost to 2 random 1 cost. So it kind of just ends up being a 1 mana change in the end from 0 mana add 2 to 1 mana add 2. And then Hand of a Doll gives a minion +2/+1 instead of +2/+2 now. Still has draw a card though. And then the final thing is Unbound Elemental, 3 mana, 3/4 whenever you play a card with Overload versus after you play a card now. It is now after you play a card with Overload, gain +1/+1. So
Yeah, the Unbound Elemental change is extremely minor, but Unbound Elemental is actually looking pretty crazy with one of the newer cards that's been revealed. If you're able to clear the entire opponent's board with that new 1 mana spell, deals 3, and casts again, you could be looking at a pretty big buff for 3 mana for your Unbound, 1 mana for that spell, and just a lot of tempo on turn 4.
Yeah, I think my response to that synergy is ha 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 shaman, because it means you are
Yeah,
playing shaman. But if you do find yourself in that unfortunate situation, it is a pretty interesting synergy. Although the 1 mana card overloading you for a lot doesn't seem exactly ideal, even if you are getting a large elemental out of it.
look, even though your mage opponent is just going to devolving missiles and it's all going to go away immediately, just let the shamans live their dream.
I I don't even know if Mage exists anymore itself. I haven't seen Mage at all besides Wild. Maybe I'm just not playing enough. Um,
It certainly hasn't had the most optimal time in sort of the ladder format. Just sort of the classes that are going up against Paladin, very popular now. Not as many priests to feed on,
I also
but
think
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the swap from what we previously saw a lot of Secret Rogue, now it's transitioned to almost entirely Miracle Rogue. And that is like a change of 40% in the mage matchup, going from wildly unfavored for the rogue to incredibly favored for the rogue. And just the dominance of that, along with Paladin on ladder, has really kicked a lot of the mages out.
yeah, for sure. But we do have Paladin changes. I'm wondering what you all think of the first day change specifically. We'll quickly kind of transition into the stuff after giving thoughts on quick thoughts on the last two. I think that first day, in terms of standard, might see play, but even then, it just feels like the infinite mana cost change. Essentially, what it is, even though it's just going up 1 mana from 0. It might really harm the card being played like at all.
Yeah, it also definitely lowers the utility of First Day of School as well. There have been times where I play First Day of School for sometimes even lethal outs, and with one fewer minion, that drastically reduces the chances. There's almost 60 different 1 drops that you can get, so getting 1 less is a huge knock to consistency.
I think Paladin still has some premium 1 drops available to it in I believe it's Night of Anointment and as well as Aldor Attendant if you're playing Libram versions. I think the nerf to First Day of School means that it just isn't able to compete with the other like premium early game that Paladin currently has. And it's
Yeah,
probably going to get cut from most lists.
Makes sense. In Hand of a Doll, I don't think the health change matters too much. It still says draw a card, and it's still going to be pretty good. But I also might be very wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some Paladin versus Paladin games where it starts mattering, but for the most part, it's not going to.
Yeah. Um. So right, let's move right along into the matches. I guess we can go straight into Legacy. Um. To start off with our Legacy matches, I have picked for myself Dad Legend versus Bank Yugi's Fan Club. Um. So far we have one result, which is Ducharmo getting a sweep over Posca. So congrats to Ducharmo on that win. And as for the rest of the matches, um, it looks pretty lopsided for Dad Legend. I think the closest matches will probably be Zabe versus Cheese, and Spartan versus Snake Fods. I think your Mumked will take it in the 2, and I would favor Jolt C in the 3. Or sorry, in the 5. Although Haster they have a similar record. There's just that PR difference, which doesn't necessarily matter too much in the 5. But I'm really interested to see how Cheese, who has a very has a history of Legacy long ago, back when this format was just called THL because there was no other series. Cheese coming back. I want to see how he fares. He's been playing in this meta from what I have gathered. He has just been substituting for teams. So I believe he'll give Zabe a fight, and I'd like to see him win. But Zabe's also really good. And Spartan versus Snake Fods, super close in PR, super close in record. So I think that'll be very close, and I think that match might have a hand in deciding who wins.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say I'm not going to like. I think Cheese is actually a pretty good matchup for Zabe here.
Yeah.
Something that I've learned since last week, we actually featured Cheese last week as
Yeah.
well, is that Cheese is the druid specialist for Vicious Syndicate. So he is the writer for that entire class. And I'm going to. I think it's much closer than just
Yeah.
immediately saying Zabe is a GM candidate,
I
and
didn't
is
even
going
know. I
to
didn't even
clean
know he
house.
was.
I mean,
Good.
in the past.
Oh, definitely. Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna be very competitive. I'm interested to see what classes he brings. I would guess Druid, but Druid is just super strong. Wouldn't be surprised if most people are bringing Druid in Legacy and pretty much every format. Just barring Wild. Wild doesn't have Druid's not super duper strong, but has its spot in Wild. Yeah. Any
I
Yeah.
I think I overall agree with what's been said so far. I think Cheese is a name that I've sort of heard and seen around, but I'm not super familiar. I think it's probably going to be a pretty close match in the 1. Your Mumkad's super strong player. I would give it to him. Overall, I'd say I'd predict that Dad Legend comes out on top, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout for them.
Yeah, seeing a 3-0 start to the week really gives Dad Legend an up in this matchup.
Yeah, although Thank You Fan Club does have 2 ties, so they could go for the 3rd one here.
True. That would just be even nuttier. There's been so many ties this season across the series. It's crazy. Where you're gonna see ties showing up across many of the conferences.
Also, I think this is a good time to mention that we're going to see a lot of sort of blank sites here just because some people are waiting for the later Friday deadline, whereas we're also going to see if there are classes, usually there's also match results already in because people are trying to get those in before the patch drops.
Yeah, so with the patch dropping on Thursday, the deadline has been extended to Friday at midnight Pacific. So you have quite a lot of time to prepare your classes and decks for various series. And if there's no other prevailing thoughts on this match, we can move on to the
No.
next one.
Yeah, so I'd actually like to talk about both of your guys' teams at the same time. I already knew that I was going to be picking this even before I knew that Mr. Al was going to be on this episode. But Anoya team is in their last week in Legacy Conference. So this is their time to make sure that they secure that fourth place spot, or maybe even a little bit higher than that. Because their points per week just aren't quite as much as some of the other teams, and so they actually really need to secure this win in order to have any chance of actually making it into playoffs. Uh,
Yeah.
speaking of which, though, this is a very stacked team to go up against. I know we have Milo here, newly inaugurated into the 2 seed, and he's going up against Lotus Knight, who is, I mean, just crazy. Like, I really hope that is going to be streamed. I'm going to be on that match for sure. But Molstar versus Neji Boston is also just like the 1 and the 2 seed are absolutely stacked on both of these teams.
Yeah. And I know that Buse and Catharsis are playing right now as we're talking. So well, we're not gonna have a full score update, like a match result update, but they're playing right now. And then we have Chariot versus Mojo and Zethund versus Clarity. And both of us are, and I'm sure Milo and I both want our teams to win equally as bad. Um, as like you said, Anoyo has the bye in the final week. Um, and so I think with a solid week here, you guys should very easily make playoffs. Um, and the onus is going to be on my team specifically to get a win for our team. And to make it so our matchup versus Tonk has a lot of stakes next week. So next week I would not be surprised if we're sitting here talking about me and Geranium's teams. Honestly,
Yeah.
unless my team like bombs.
I mean, so Orcs and Smorks sort of needs to win both of their last 2 weeks in order to make playoffs,
Yeah.
whereas our team just needs to win this one. Um, it really depends. If an Oyo team absolutely cleans house, then we could see a very secure playoff position. But if an Oyo team just sort of makes it in with like 16 points, it might not actually be enough.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, uh, with a win of like 13 points on the week would give the 16. Yeah, that wouldn't be very secure considering that considering the competition. I don't have the standings pulled up. But next week I will have the standings. For everything I was gonna consider talking about playoffs, but I think just talking about this match, well, and it's just part of the race. Of the for the playoffs in gold. Gold's super tight. It's really fun to keep track of.
So right now,
yeah, gold is like. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now Noyo team is in 5th place as far as points per week go.
Yeah.
But it's still very, very close between we're sitting at like 14.8 and next person is at 15.1. So
Yeah.
it's still definitely possible. I think us on a Noyo team, we definitely know that this needs to be a big week if we want to secure that playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
I,
love
I
to.
will say. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, please. I'm
Oh.
maybe going to transition to the next.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I'm most interested about Neji versus Molstar for a match. I think they are. I think that match would be so fire to have on stream.
Yeah, honestly, both the 1 and the 2 are just so powerful on both teams that I really want to see those both streamed. I really hope that, like, even if we aren't going to see something necessarily Thursday, or maybe people won't be ready for Friday, I really hope that those matches get streamed later on in the weekend.
Yeah, we'll talk about needing matches on streams when we get to the end here. But yeah, it would be cool to get at least one of the matches from this set on stream. Yeah, we'll transition to our next match. Another match that has a lot of playoff implications in the Gold Conference. Do you even Tonk versus Mean
Yeah,
Dream Team?
I was going to bring up that Do You Even Talk is on 14.84 points per week, and Anoyo team is on 14.86 right now. So it is a super tight race for that fourth place position to get into playoffs.
Yeah. I heard that Geranium was going to talk about my match, so I said, all right, fine. I'll talk about your match on stream. But yeah, this is a match again with, as we were saying, big playoff implications. Both these teams, if they're able to get a win this week and a win next week, they could easily slide into playoffs. And we can see it. They're both 3-3, sitting at 91 versus 90 points. So definitely both in similar positions. I will say, ask Turtle, and he said that this was going to be an easy 5-0 for his team. And they're already down a match. I was lied to by Turtle. If any of you see Turtle, tell him I'm very upset that he lied to me about his legacy match.
Yeah, you could have asked me. I'd be more truthful. I'd say it's probably like a 4-1 or a 3-2 because Turtle's probably going to lose his match too.
Let's not be so hasty. I see Turtle's opponent has little WLK in their class lineup.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Turtle does not
no.
have a PR.
Hog.
I don't know if Turtle's losing this week.
Yeah, you're right. His opponent did indeed bring Warlock, and Turtle did indeed not bring Priest, opting for Demon Hunter, Druid, Paladin, Rogue, Paladin, Priest, Warlock, Warrior. I don't know. We'll see how that match ends up playing out. I know that Easy Bake and I know Easy Bake likes his Warlock for sure. I don't know too much about Clone when it comes to class, like any particular classes he enjoys. But no, it'll be cool. And honestly, for Dranium's sake, I would love to see your team do very well this week. And make that push for playoffs. This is such a tight race. Like, whichever team gets in is going to have super earned it, honestly.
Yeah. Something interesting about this match is that Meme Dream Team, the top 3 seeds, are all also in the same pro team.
Mm-hmm.
In Pink Conference, they are on Infinite Value.
Yeah.
Infinite Value isn't doing too hot right now, but Meme Dream Team definitely has the shot, probably has the motivation and the and sort of the drive behind them to more make that playoff spot. So I think sometimes people say that Legacy is sort of the new pro, and I don't necessarily disagree. I think this is maybe going to be their harder matchup. But speaking of other series, I think Hero is next up.
Indeed. To our Hero series, our last Hero standing format series, we have our first match of Ask HS versus Dad Legend. And I guess this week I decided to be a shill for Dad Legend. I picked both their Legacy and Pro Team matches. And rightfully so, this one is very close contested on points. Overall, we do see a result with Risen getting a sweep over Kel. So just like in their Legacy match, one of their players has swept. And the other matches in this one are Neji Boston versus Isocles, Mr. Python versus Starlax, Dr. BOMD versus Corridon, and Doubles versus Yellow Dart. Gosh, Yellow Dart's a cheat code in the 5. Any one of these players on this team playing in the 5 is a cheat code. And they're so bunched up besides Isocles that there's a chance that, like, even if they keep winning, like, and Starlax doesn't keep and just doesn't win, which would be obviously unfortunate. But if PR worked out that way, he could end up in the 5 by the end of the season. They've all bunched in within 53 PR of each other.
This is
Mhm.
this is two titans of the Hero Conference going up against each other. Definitely the closest by points, for sure. And you know, it's getting into the later half of all the different matches. We're starting to see the playoff positions sort of come into fruition here. But honestly, this is a really close match. The 1 and the 2 on Ask HS are probably the most powerful thing, and then the 4 and the 5 on Dad Legend are maybe the most powerful thing. So it might actually all
Yeah,
come down to Dr. BOMD versus Corridon.
you took the point right from me. I think Isocles is not to be under. No, that's fine. Like, honestly, I do think this match just comes straight down to BOMD versus Corridon, and they're both very good players. Corridon is 5-2 this season. Shout outs to him, and shout outs to BOMD as well. Like, even though he's 3-4, like, I mean, 3 seed in Hero, if you look up and down it, it's insane. Like, the 3 seeds that you have to go against. I guess Hero itself. I think Hero itself is just such a stacked series in general. A lot of the teams being built kind of similarly to how some of the teams being built similarly to Ask HS, and then Dad Legend just kind of does their usual build of like that 1-5-50, and then bunch of like 300, 200 players. That just comprise it. And if you get someone like Starlax winning matches and they're in the 2 seed with like 300 PR, then you're getting so much value. I would favor Neji. I do think that I give slight edges to Neji, and I think Mr. Python should take his match. BOMD versus Corden again, kind of a toss up in my head. I do favor Yellow Dart though. So I think it's going to come down to that match for all intents and purposes, but it might not. We'll see.
Speaking, moving right along though, there is an absolutely. You're talking about cheat codes with Yellow Dart. There is no larger cheat code than No Pros Here's 1 seed this week. They're bringing in Monsanto, a current GM, into the 1 seed against Desharmo.
I
What?
I thought that this was no pros here. That's a pro player. Breaking the rules. Unfair. Feels
Bad
bad,
branding.
Kappa. Yeah, bad
Just
branding.
like-
That's what it is.
Just like Celeste.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see Monsanto actually playing in THL. Like, I mean, we've had GMs and former GMs stuff play in THL, in the past, even as much as last season where Rami was playing in the Wild Series. Yeah, I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah. Remind me to ask Monsanto to sub for me in Legacy.
I don't know if the PRs would work out there. I'll definitely contact him if I need a sub in Pro, though.
True.
But otherwise, looking at this match, I was hoping JR would defend himself, but he definitely has his work cut out for him against Jermumked. The sort of the middle seeds here, I sort of I feel like No Pros here just has the top to bottom advantage over Tampam Surf Slam, and Tampam needs to start winning a little bit more in order to actually get back into the higher positions for playoffs. So this week isn't necessarily looking like it's going to be so great for them, but definitely watch out for them in future weeks.
Yeah.
I will say for Tanpams, in their credit, for a team that is currently 3-4, they have a very good points per week in Hero. Um, of course, no pros here is far and away leading with a 6-1 record. So I think for Tanpams, it's going to be just hoping that they can continue to put up just a decent chunk of points each week and not fall down. Uh, and I think No Pros clearly has a lot of very good players, and they are most likely not going to fall from that first place position.
Actually, there is an update because one of the matches for this has come in.
Yeah.
Carvalho has beaten Lefty 3-1.
So a 4-1 lead for No Pros here to start the week. Yeah, Lefty really hasn't played a lot of hero series, as he's mainly just captain Tampams, but having to come in as a perma sub, and unfortunately struggling. He's doing well in the other series though. Um, so obviously I hope that he gets it turned around for Tampams. I would like to see this team make a nice run. They're all at similar records. Ducharmo at a 4-2. Um, kind of looking at like Ducharmo and a couple of these other players at 3 and 4 to kind of step up every week, and Wash being in a great position playing in the 5 seed, with a lot of experience, someone who is easily a 4 seed in Hero.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Osmonaut either. If I'm remembering correctly, he
Yes.
is the one person who has handed me an L in Legacy series. So
Yeah.
I think he can certainly play pretty well.
Yeah,
Although,
Oz
so
is
can Disco.
Oz is a 3 seed for sure. Like Oz has played the 3 and does it pretty and has done very well there over the years, or I should say over the seasons, because the seasons aren't exactly 1 year.
Yeah, and he may yet do it again if
Yeah.
Lefty keeps on this trend.
Definitely.
However, I will, since JR isn't able to dispute this, I'm going to put forward the theory that maybe JR is throwing for content. If he keeps being in this sort of zone where he's in danger of not making the playoffs, then I'm going to keep featuring him every single week.
Maybe. I would doubt it, but yeah, maybe.
But one last hero conference. And Milo, what were you thinking about these two?
Oh,
Yes, we are now moving on to Vote of Some Confidence versus Wherever I May Roam. And I believe there was some music that Sage asked us to play when we began discussing this match. If we have that pulled up.
I do. So on behalf of Sage, I'm gonna play like a couple of seconds of this intro to a song that he asked us to play.
Not hear it, so
Okay. I only play. So there's 20 seconds of the song that Sage asked us to play. It is called "Gunfight" by Boy Eats Drum Machine. So I assume this is a shot at Donde, as most people like to take shots at Donde. And obviously we have two very very good teams here. In Vote of Some Confidence and the on the rise Wherever I May Roam. And so Vote of Some Confidence coming off of a needing a bounce back week, and I'll let Milo talk about the match.
yeah. So I did have comments from both Sage and Donde about this match. I reached out to. Sage said that he was predicting a good, clean thrashing of Wherever I May Roam, and that to let them know that they smell chum in the water and won't have any gravy at the end of the week. He also said, and I quote, Ruck Fawn Mexico. I don't know
Oh,
what that means.
damn! We're bringing back
but that was
we're
on
bringing
my
back the
tweet.
Ruck von Mexico. Oh lord! I guess
None
Sage
of those
turned
are
into
words.
I guess Sage
I
turned
mean,
into brushy
Mexico
tuna
is.
there a little bit. Obviously, Sage being one of the Sage and Ron both being on the saloon in previous seasons. So good
I will
good
say,
jab.
Ruck Fawn Mexico kind of sounds like a Pasca team name.
Yeah, it does, but very specific what it's supposed to say.
Donde was a little more level-headed with his comments, just saying that he was. I messaged him right before his match with Ufric.
Oh gosh.
He said he was worried he was going to have an uphill battle because Ufric has been having a great season, and that seems to have come true. But he's really proud of how his team's been doing, and he's confident that they'll be able to get the win this week. So
Awesome.
I'm excited to see how this plays out. And it seems, I'm going to guess, that most of these matches are happening pre-patch because there's so many classes in already. So I think we'll be able to find out fairly soon how this match has gone. I will say, I think looking at that 5 seed, I think this is going to be a very rough week for Roadrunner. Oh, I just got an update in the chat that Roadrunner took the dub, so don't listen to what I just said. This is going to be an easy week for Roadrunner.
Wow.
He's a fantastic player and managed to get the victory over Sharkbait.
Sharkbait.
That's crazy. I mean, I was just going to support Sharkbait and say that she had won last week over Quaz, but I guess it wasn't enough for Roadrunner's second win.
I was going to say, I was thinking it would be particularly rough for Roadrunner because Roadrunner is a Wash U player, and he's going up against a team with both Heat Shock and Ufric on it.
Oh
So,
yeah, against 2 other Washoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I guess it sounds like it's going to be a fairly close match at this point, just coming
Yeah.
down to Boolean versus Anfall and Heat Shock versus Ron Mexico. And I think both of those are matches that could really go either way. We
Mhm.
have classes in for Anfall v Boolean, and I think looking at the classes and sort of looking at the records, looking at the PR, I might favor Boolean just slightly based on the classes, but I think it could easily go either way. And then Heat Shock versus Ron Mexico will certainly be entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it heavily depends on what types of rogue, what types of warrior uh, Boolean is bringing and Anfall is bringing. I mean, there's only sort of one type of hunter, one type of priest, but there's so much variability in how this match could play just based on those final deck choices.
Well, also not to mention Paladin.
Yeah, but Paladin also 3 pretty valid deck choices that have very different win rates against the different classes. In the one though, Ron Mexico is no slouch, but Heat Shock is another one of those vicious syndicate writers. I mentioned Cheesy before, being the druid specialist. Heat Shock is the mage specialist.
Oh,
Should come to no surprise.
What a surprise! Heat Shock writing about me.
Yeah, but I mean, mage not being brought too much, so maybe his specialization isn't as helpful here.
Yeah, I think I think that Heat Shock is just great at this game in general, and obviously he has an affinity for mage, but he knows how to play other stuff as well. So, him versus Ron would be such a marquee match to get on stream. Overall, Sage talked about giving a nice thrashing, and that appears to not be the case this week. So we'll see how the rest of this plays out.
The second person who's now lied to me about how their matches are going to go?
Yeah, I think so, but I mean, that was a prediction. I don't think that. I think that Turtle is the one who lied, and that Sage just got his prediction wrong. But I mean, obviously, Vote can
At
still
least
take the
donate
win.
to the truth.
Vote can still win this week, and they could do it really well if the rest of them get sweeps. That would kind of end up looking like a thrashing at that point. But with I don't know what the exact scoreline is, but looking at 9 to either 7 or 9 to 6, 7 or 8, and that all depends of it. That if it's a 3 to 2, then it's still extremely close, and otherwise, Vote has a bit to overcome in order to stave off a losing streak. All right, I guess that's gonna do it for Legacy. For our first two series, and we're going to move into our commercial break.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Tavern Talk. If you're enjoying our show, make sure you check out Around the Saloon and Maniacal Tournament series on Mondays, and Runny Tuesday on Hearth Center on not yesterday, but every other week on Sunday that you'll never guess. Is that enough content for you? Well, we stream THL matches each night from Thursday to Sunday, starting at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. Side effects may include knowledge and fun. But wait, that's not all. We also have incredible matches on weekend afternoons on Schoolstone, precise times and days that are subject to availability. For Pride Month, THL is undergoing a mini makeover. The ever-talented Two-Star Mako has redesigned a beautiful rainbow logo that you'll see popping up all over THL. You may even see it in the THL Twitch chat. Speaking of which, please consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs of operating a website and improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. And I see someone asking in our chat, what is Twitch Prime? Well, Twitch Prime is a thing with Amazon Prime and Prime Gaming. You can sub to the channel for free. Another great reason to support THL is that it's going to a good cause. All proceeds from subs, bits, donations, and merch sales is going to the Trevor Project this month. So hit that heart button and keep the notifications on to make sure you catch our team streams live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, please check out THL's other social media points of interest. Website at teamhearthlegends.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Hearth Legends, and the THL POW podcast is wherever podcasts are sold.
And so, obviously, Geranium Battle, our co-host, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Fantastic. Asking what is Twitch Prime as he subs with Prime Gaming. So, obviously, thank you so much. And that will go towards the Trevor Project this month. So yeah, huge shout outs to everyone who's given so far. You see the donation bar down at the bottom. We are raising money for the Trevor Project this week. And CM Show, thank you so much for your Twitch Prime sub as well. Very much appreciated. And so any bits, subs, donations in the link down in the link below, and gift subs as well, and merch sales will all be going towards that. Will all be going towards a great cause. And so from here, we move back to the good stuff, and we have Pro Series matches. We're gonna start in the Black Conference with my pick of the week. Brushy Tuna versus Group Process. And Corridon, thank you so much for your tier 1 subscription 4 months in a row. Like it says on the thing, you are the best, my man. We have actually started a hype train. Holy cow. Thank you so much, everybody. It means a lot. With all the money we get, usually we put it towards making sure our shows can run. We can have tournaments and stuff like that and run the website. But back to this match, Brushy Tuna versus Group Process. We have Lotus Knight versus Goose, Based Ink versus Boolean, Ron Mexico versus his former teammate Solo Jazz, Desharmo versus Rice Bowl, and Isocles versus Taco Cat. Man, we have a little bit of the unknown versus the unknown action, with Solo Jazz being a former member of the team captained by Desharmo. I think we have classes for Desharmo and Rice Bowl in. I don't know if we have any actual results for that, but I think this is a very, very close match. And and both teams are playing pretty well. Group Process, one of the only teams to not lose to Hype Horizon this season, as he took them to a tie. And Brushy Tuna has a bunch of players doing extremely well in Lotus, Base, and Ron, and Desharmo and Isocles, who both took subs last week, sitting at 2 and 3, coming back fresh, probably raring to go and play. I think I'm gonna favor Lotus. Um, gonna favor Based over Boolean. I think Ron and Solo Jazz will be a super close match. I might give that one to Ron though, and then I think the Sharmo versus Rice Bowl. Oh my god, that's a toss up. And then Isocles versus Taco Cat. Taco Cat has been killing it on ladder, and I love Isocles very much as my co-caster on Salty Saturday. But I will pick Taco Cat for this match. I guess I will say it'll be a 3-2, and I will give Rice Bowl the win over to Sharmo. But I think this is a super interesting match. So many recognizable names. Glad to see them doing well in pro.
Yeah, we do have the bans in for Desharmo and Rice Bowl. Desharmo has banned Rice Bowl's Warlock, and Rice Bowl has banned Desharmo's Paladin. So both are actually bringing Priest, Rogue, Warrior as their 3 classes, but they are very different Priest, Rogue, Warriors. Well, I mean, Priests are mostly the same, but it is a Miracle Rogue and a Rush Warrior for Desharmo, and it is a Poison Rogue and a Control Warrior for Rice Bowl. I think our guest will agree with me when I say that the Control Warrior is going to be favored in this match. I'm gonna say Rice Bowl is a little bit favored just based on this class.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to the Priest mirror. I think this Rice Bowl's lineup is pretty clearly built to try and sweep this Priest. I think the benefit of Priest and Warrior having other good matchups is just a little bit of gravy. And Desharmo's very, very wisely banned the Warlock, which is going to be the worst matchup for his Priest, knowing that he needs to get that Priest through. And obviously, with the lineup built to take your Priest down, it's going to be hard to get it through, but you get 3 shots at it.
Yeah.
I actually think that the Rush Warrior also has quite a tough time into those 3 classes.
Yeah, Rush Warrior has a hard time, but I think it can beat the Poison Rogue. Unless Poison Rogue goes like Shank on 3 into all the poisons. I think Rush Warrior could do just fine into it.
Yeah, I mean, Rush Warrior just doesn't have that many taunts. They do have the 2-5 on 4, but but other than that, it's pretty much just letting the rogue hit them in the face and trying to race them. So I don't know. The Warrior's best chance might be into the Control Warrior, and that's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the resident Control Warrior expert, I can say that, yeah, especially looking at Rice Bowl's list, seeing Rattlegore, seeing Magtheridon, those are things that are going to present fairly large issues for that Rush Warrior to deal with. And I definitely think I could see this being a 1-3 in favor of Rice Bowl. Even a sweep if the Miracle Rogue runs into some bad matchups.
Yeah. I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is pro for a reason. We've got all the big names here in the all down the line. Group process, obviously very stacked, but I think Brushy Tuna needs some tuna emotes in chat. It's too powerful.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the top pro team out of every single conference. It is the one, the only, the Washed Tappers, and they're going up against quite a formidable foe. Sheepy's also one of the very top teams. This is probably this might be the hardest week that the Wash Tappers have for them. Wash Tappers have the most points in the league, but they do have also the weakest strength of schedule. So they've had sort of the easiest time at getting to their insane spot right that they are right now. But I mean, I think it's mainly deserved where they've gotten to. MMW versus Ive Hunter has already come in as a 3-2. Ufric versus a Zonix, based on their classes. The bands being Warlock and Paladin, I'm going to give the slight edge to a Zonix, I believe here. Just the actually,
Well,
no, sorry. I'm going to give the edge to Ufric. They've got the Control Warrior versus the versus the Druid. They've got the
Ooh,
freaking
Ufric won.
I'm going to give a
Warlockers
very
priest.
large edge to
Oh, never
Ufric,
mind. Okay, yeah.
considering he just won 3-1.
Oh yeah, okay. So CM.
Okay,
Okay,
you
so
know what,
CM
fine.
Show is a Zonix. Okay, good to know for the
This is why I'm not a
future.
predictor. I already know the results.
Yeah. So yeah, congrats to Ufric on winning.
Given now that Watchtoppers is up 8.
8-3.
Yeah, and they've still got plenty of heat down the line with Heat Shock in the 5. It's not looking great for Sheepies.
Yeah, I have to say, I don't want to disrespect anyone on Wash Tappers, but if you just read me the names of the people on the team and asked me what order they were in, I think I'd put them in the exact reverse order of what they're in right now. Like looking at the list and seeing, oh yeah, Heat Shock's in the 5, C-Max in the 4, is just super surprising to me.
Yeah.
And not to disrespect MMW, Ufric, or Valdez, they're guys that I've played against in collegiate stuff. They're no slouches for sure. But seeing the WashU players doing better than the coach of the team is certainly interesting.
And of all things, MMW hasn't lost a series. He's 7-0. Like now he's actually just 7-0. So that's huge. When you have a player going undefeated and 2 other players that have 1 loss apiece, you are winning most of your weeks. And obviously, Sheepies has a similar thing where Why the Hunter and Azonix both at 1 loss prior to this week. And they unfortunately take losses, but Sheepies is killing it this season. I was on the Around the Saloon when we asked about Sheepies making finals or not, and they are showing up and showing out that they want to make the finals of Pro. So we'll see how the rest of this match plays out, and obviously good luck to the rest of the players. Next up, we all got to talk about some form of our teams up to this point. We have another one of our teams getting spotlighted here. Take me through your pro match, Mr. Nice Jewish Owl.
Yeah, I was originally going to talk about that previous match, and then Geranium snatched it up before me. So I decided to talk about this match because it's another one of those matches where, I mean, obviously you can see both of the teams 3-3, 1 point apart from each other. If either of these teams are able to get a win and then leverage that into a win again next week, they could set themselves up for sort of squeezing in as that 4th spot for playoffs. And being a member of one of these teams, we are certainly hoping to do that. I think this is going to be a close fight for our team. I think just going down the line, Fog High, not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Foggy. Foggy 8, yep.
Foggy is very, very strong player. I've seen him around places outside of THL. But Lefty, we saw him, what was it, in the Hero 3 seed, struggling a bit.
Yeah.
But nah, he's 4-2 in the Pro 1 seed though.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Geranium was saying earlier that Legacy is looking like Pro. And then we've got Manfric's Multiple Wives, which is helping make Pro look a little like Legacy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there are 4 players in Legacy on this team with Lefty, Wild 9, yourself, and Jester, and MPV does only plays Pro. Meanwhile, Faction, which is an organization team, struggling this season a bit compared to last season. Last season they were doing super well. And then they ran into a buzzsaw in the playoffs. I believe they played. I want to say Faction played for the boys in week 1, but I might be wrong. I don't remember exactly what happened. They either played for the boys or Hype Horizon and lost. So if they squeak in, they're gonna want vengeance for that. And then your team, I love the players. I really like the players on your team. Lefty playing extremely well. Wild9 playing extremely well. Yourself, a little not quite at that 500 mark, but I can see you getting there this week. We'll see if your opponent knows which deck to ban from you.
Yeah.
MPV versus Power are going to be great. And Jester, one of my favorite people in THL, going up against Walter Ruski.
I think overall, I'm a little biased. I'm going to favor my team, but I think it's going to be a 3-2. I think Fogey is going to get the win, and I think Unlimited Power is going to get the win. But I'm pretty confident in saying that Jester and Wild9 are going to get the win, and then it's just me saying that I think I'm going to win my match, and we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, Mancrick's Multiple Wives has 2 of the 3 only people to beat me in THL. So I'm going to favor them. And then also Wild9 has just been absolutely killing it in Legacy. So you predicted the 3 Legacy players to win their matches, and I'm going to agree.
I will say, if Faction does win this week, their opponent next week is going to be Hype Horizon. So if they're trying to make playoffs, they're going to have to really work for it.
Yeah. Similar to Legacy, this only has 2 weeks left as well. All right. So any other thoughts? I'll let people give more thoughts before we move into our final series.
No, I want to hear from the new Wild specialist on this show about Wild.
All right. I love it. We're moving into Wild series, everybody. And I picked the match, one of the 2 matches that I actually am playing this week. I actually subbed in for Crab Riders this week in Wild. And I went up against Ken Ray. And I took my match 3-1. It was a very hard fought series for the most part. A couple of matchups. Wild has some very kind of polarizing matchups, so I was able to take a couple of matches pretty easily, just based on like how the two based on how the matchups went for the decks. But really hard fought 2 matches, and ended up taking the dub. And I really have enjoyed my time prepping with Crab Riders this week. So we have Number Theory versus Risa, Catharsis versus Casual R, Siege versus Boo Hooligan, and then we got Betronome versus Jumpy. And I think that with me taking the 5C match, I think this is gonna help propel the team to take a 3-2 victory, with Risa and Casual getting wins, and then Siege and Betronome getting wins. So Crab Rise will edge out Mad Scientist and take their second win of the season.
Yeah. There was no Hearth Center this week.
Yeah.
So Diamond really wanted us to talk about the Pog Merchants sweeping last week, but I'll just mention it like this. I mean, the Crab Riders have already gotten their first points of the last 2 weeks, and I think that is a trend they're going to follow.
Yeah, they took a very harsh, actual 20-0 point loss to Pog Merchants. Every single match was played, and every single match ended in a sweep. Obviously, congratulations to the Pog Merchants. That's huge going into the back half of this season. So yeah, huge ups to Pog Merchants. So um, obviously, I mean, dude, if
Yeah.
anybody else has thoughts on this one match, otherwise I can switch us to our next match. It's interesting. I actually every
No.
single match I'm involved in this week involves catharsis. With
Uh,
legacy cap.
that's
Oh.
that is really interesting. But most of my features as well also feature the name Anoyo team. Is
Yes.
a weird statistic,
Yeah.
and it is no different with Anoyo team facing up against Mancrick's Revenge. Because Anoyo team versus Mancrick's Revenge also has a sort of a pretty similar win rate to each other. We see Mancrick's Revenge has the 2 ties instead of the 2 losses, and that's sort of why they have their higher points this week. But I'd say both are sort of in similar boats to each other with their 4 wins. BCDS is absolutely clocking it in the one,
Hmm.
but otherwise, looking down the line, there's a lot of matchups that are much closer. Looking specifically at Lefty. I mean, Lefty's bringing Shutterwalk Shaman, and I'm not a wild player, but man, do I love playing Shutterwalk Shaman. So
Yeah, it has its
I
spot.
I really want to say that Lefty will win, but uh,
Ah.
I do. I think I'm going to favor Mad at Arms.
Hmm.
My Shutter.
I need to look at the. I haven't. I need to look at the decks for sure. I for some reason I didn't pull up those those decks. I pulled up decks for another match we're gonna talk about in a bit. Oh, there's more. There's
Okay, well
actually more
I'll just
classes
quick
for me.
go over them.
Sure.
So Lefty, yeah, Lefty is bringing a Handbuff Paladin,
Hmm.
Shutterwalk Shaman,
Hmm.
uh, a a Rush Warrior,
Hmm.
and a Big Priest. And then Mad at Arms is bringing the Dark Lair Warlock, another Handbuff Paladin, the Secret Rogue, and finally a Reno Paladin, as a Reno Priest. And we
Oh.
actually have bans in for that as well.
Okay.
Bans being Mad at Arms is
Man at
banning
Arms.
the Big Priest,
Okay. Yeah,
and then
that's a good
Lefty
band.
is banning the Dark Lair Warlock from Mad at Arms.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely bands like I would expect from there. So Secret Mage, hand buff Raza Priest versus hand buff Shutterwalk Shaman and a Rush Warrior deck. So tough. I don't really know what Rush Warrior kind of looks like in Wild. It might um
Oh, it's Crab Warrior.
is it Crab Warrior?
Yeah.
It is Crab Warrior.
Okay, I have to look at this deck. But just quickly I'll quickly pull the deck up just to look at it. Oh yeah. Okay, this is
It is
Crab Warrior.
uses the
Yeah,
spell Charge to give it charge, and it already has its Wind Fury, and then it's gonna smack in for lethal.
that makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, this is an OTK
uh,
deck. I bringing this along with a Reno Shutterwalk deck. Um, I love the creativity. And but I think that Matt bringing the decks that a lot of the I think that a lot of the decks that Matt brought, just kind of being the consensus good decks, might give him the edge here just for that reason. Um, so yeah, I would favor Matt at Arms because of that.
I don't know. And Lefty always brings these very weird lineups. So it's
Yeah,
probably it might bring Mad at Arms out of his comfort zone.
sure.
We have yet to see. I actually think it'll be very close.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah, otherwise for predicting the match, I think Mancrick's Revenge uh, is going to very slightly lose to a
Mhm.
Noyo team, even though they have the better points per week and they have the better win record. I think I just think Duin, Bone Masher, Mad at Arms is the strong core is going to take it.
Yeah, for sure. And the Slight versus PCDS is going to be a great match because even though Slight is struggling this season, I got 4-2. always been a very good wild player. And then Gumby versus it's me, Mike V. I'm not 100%. I'm not very knowledgeable about Gumby. And I know that Mike V. Has a history playing a bunch of different series. That would have to come down to me looking at deck lists to actually decide who I think would win. So yeah, we're gonna move to our next match, and Milo, give me the rundown on this match.
Now we're moving to Nofin Can Stop Us versus Wild THL Fanatics.
Yeah.
And we were all noticing patterns in matches we talked about. I've noticed that I've talked about 2 different matches featuring a certain player by the name of Turtle.
Turtle.
Perhaps a reference to the new Warrior Legendary coming in the mini set.
Oh yeah, that we forgot to talk about.
Yeah. But, I think this match is definitely another one that could prove to be fairly interesting. No Way H is been having I think anyone who knows him knows he's been having quite a lot of success on ladder recently.
Yeah.
Every time I open up my friends list, it's either a big 1 or a big 2 next to his name. So definitely been having a lot of success in Wild right now. And I talked with him a little bit about this match, and he said he feels fairly confident that his team's going to be able to win, but he's a little worried with the mini set coming out that people are either going to get baited into playing bad decks or are going to get baited into not playing new cards and then get crushed by good new decks. So, like he said, he thinks he's confident with the playing ability of the rest of people on his team, but he's a little worried with mini set and nerfs coming that the lineup building might suffer on his team, and that would be what ultimately dooms them.
Yeah, that's a risk that a lot of people had to decide on this week, whether they wanted to play before or after the mini set release. Um, so I think just like looking at records, you would say that this is a fairly close match. No Way versus Slod could go either way. No Way is having a very nice season for himself. He struggled a bit with Conquest last season and has picked it up this season, leading Nothing Can Stop Us. And then Quake Lord versus BOMD. Quake Lord's a nuts player. Him being 4-3. I would expect him to be almost doing is just have like that one extra win. Like No Way has 5-2. Like I could have seen Quake. I would have maybe expected Quake Lord to be there. I would favor him over BOMD. Yo Daddy versus Sheep City. Very good players on both sides. I think that could be a deciding factor match. Then I think I'd favor Seth. I might favor Seth over Labor Sangre, but it just depends on the type of decks that these players are gonna want to bring. Labor sometimes likes to meme around a bit, but he does have a couple wins, which means he's not doing it necessarily every week. I think Glare versus Turtle. I'll favor Labor there, and I'll favor Glare over Turtle. I do like Turtle, but Glare's a nuts. Glare's also a very, very strong player. But who knows? If his Dark Glare doesn't get put through because of ban, then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Storyline wise, this is a extremely cool matchup to see because Nothing Can Stop Us and Wild THL Fanatics are the 2 teams to have beaten Everyone's a Winner this season. Everyone's a Winner being the previous winners last season, having been basically undefeated, and now with 2 large Mars on their records being these 2 teams. So sort of the battle to see which is truly the strongest of the winner maker losers.
Yeah, you're right. All right, these are the 2 teams that have beaten Everyone's a Winner this season. So yeah, I guess. I mean, we've gone through 3 wild matches. I guess we're done. So we're gonna move ahead. Now I'm kidding. I could not go this week without talking about F12 Viridian versus Everyone's a Winner. I get to just gush about how amazing all of these players are. Even though Rotted Zombie has a sub, she is a very good player as well. So a very good sub that F12 Viridian got for the Rotted Zombie. We've got Corbett versus Battle Tagger, Get Meowth versus Sunday, Marty B versus Hazer, and they have deck lists in. Marty bringing Reno Secret Mage, Handbuff Paladin, um, Darkglare Warlock, and Raza Priest. And for Hazer has brought Handbuff Paladin, Reno Priest. He's brought Odd Warrior, and he has brought Darkglare Warlock. So really, the difference is Reno Secret Mage and Odd Warrior. I'm sure Milo is happy to hear Odd Warrior has been brought in a series.
Of course.
Yeah. And
there's actually also classes in for the bottom match, Shiawasina versus 6J.
yeah.
They're bringing the same 4 classes, both of them, and I think it's actually the same 4 decks. Both of them are bringing Darkglare, Raza Priest, Odd Paladin, and Secret Mage. The actual deck lists are very slightly different. I believe that there is a 1 card difference with the
Darkglare.
Arcane Golem being in the Darkglare Warlock.
Yeah.
For Shiwasina, but otherwise it's just I can only predict based on the strength of the players.
I'm wondering if
And
there's differences in the. There might be slight differences in the Raza Priest lists as well. It's just so hard to go through a Reno list and actually find differences. But yeah.
There's a few cards different.
Yeah, and that's how it is with Reno Priest. There's generally a few cards difference. So difference between 6J and Shiwa, and Shia's Darkglare is one is bringing Crystallizer, which is a card that deals 5 to your face but turns it into armor. As from Shia, and then are from 6J, and Shia's brought a Arcane Golem for that charge power. But yeah, otherwise, I'm so hyped for every single one of these matches. The records are near identical, except Corbett and Get Meowth have not lost, while Sunday and Battle Tiger have 1 loss to their name. So, very, very interested to see how this ends up playing out. 2 of the best teams in the history of Wild
if
at this
F12
point.
Viridian ever had a shot against everyone's winner, it is this season. They have seemed untouchable last season, and now they're touched a little bit. So
Yeah.
everyone's a winner, though. Definitely don't count them out. This is by far my like, if I can watch every single one of these matches, please let them be on stream. There's only so much time to stream, but this
Yeah.
is such an insane matchup to watch.
Like, if I had to, yeah, exactly like you said. I think I think like there are matches. Obviously, the matches I'm involved in, I'm very invested in, but this is the best match in THL this week, like hands down. This is the best match in THL, which is why I had to talk about it, and just because F12 Viridian's a team whose only weak losses ever is to Everyone's a Winner. They won every other week that they have not played them in various iterations of the team. So we'll see if that continues or if they actually get the win here. Yeah, I guess if Milo has anything to add to it, we can actually go into our wrap up.
I'm not super up to date on Wild stuff, but this definitely looks like it's going to be a entertaining match with a lot of very good players on it.
Yeah, I mean, I already like to watch Corbett and Get Meowth do other things, but playing in THL is one thing that I also very much want to see.
Yeah. Big shout outs to those guys. I love watching their streams. And Hazer's been a joy. I've been watching Hazer stream a lot too. He's super fun to watch. Very good player.
But I do have some questions for Milo that I want
Oh
to
boy.
get to him. So can't gush about these two teams all day.
I'm excited.
Well, Milo, only 5 questions for
All
you.
right.
First, owls are known to rotate their heads for a 360-degree view. Is this vision what allows you to excel at commentary?
To an extent. I think, yeah, being able to see sort of the whole field, see everything that's going on, definitely helps. Definitely helps with commentary. I think also the very large eyes help me see everything that's going on screen.
Sometimes larger than your brain. But
Oh wow.
Damon, your roommate, has only lost to you on stream. What then inspired you to pick him as your substitute?
That is a good question. So to be fair to Damon, he did win one of the 2 matches I had him sub for me in, but I picked Damon because he is one of the few people I know who actually has more warrior wins than me. I may be known as the control warrior grinder, but Damon was grinding control warrior before I even picked the deck up. So that is what inspired me to choose him.
Wow. Speaking of which, Control Warrior, your pet deck, puts up a lot of armor, just sort of like a protective shell. Why are you stepping on Turtle's turf?
I mean, I have to say, I was looking at how Turtle has been performing this season, and I think it might be time for someone else to step in.
Oh
No offense to
Oh,
Turtle, he's a
no.
great guy.
yeah.
I mean, now you're a 2-seed and so is he
Yep, a
in
little too
Legacy.
late to face each other. I'm sure Geranium would have been happier if that match could have happened.
Well, hey, well, maybe. But actually, speaking of your meteoric rise from the 4-seed to the 3-seed to the 2-seed in Legacy, when are you planning to incorporate the 5-seed on your full roster tour?
When I go back to Hero. I think
Yeah.
I played what like 3 matches in Hero, and I went 1-2 or 1-3. So if I'm gonna play in the 5 seed, it's probably gonna be in Hero.
Yeah, I don't know, your PR is still
And
pretty high.
finally, yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be a pretty crazy team for you to be in the 5-seed. Finally, are you a fan of wrestling? Do you sort of watch and keep up to date with that? Because what prompted that heel turn from nice Jewish owl to mean Jewish owl?
Oh man.
I have to say I'm not the biggest pro wrestling watcher, but I believe that that turn was at least the username change was prompted after I faced unlimited power on ladder. And I believe I generated a kobold sticky finger and then played a Dr. Krasnov and copied it twice and like stole his lifesteal weapon and then made it a 6/6. And then he conceded. And then I immediately pinged him in the THL Discord with an image featuring those 2 cards and the text should have played around it underneath it. And he responded asking, I thought you were supposed to be a nice Jewish owl. So I had to change my username
Yeah.
to not give false advertising.
That's an amazing
Instead, now you
story.
advertise now you advertise exactly what you are, which is a rattle gourmet.
Rattle gore.
Yeah, sadly, Rattlegore has not made the cut in the most recent builds of Control Warrior I've been playing, but
Nah.
I'm excited to see how things change once the mini set releases.
Are you going to change your name to Bag Therodon?
I don't know. Uh, might be changing my name to Crash.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I mean, I didn't include it in my interview, but I do want to ask you how you feel about that new turtle card, Crash.
I think it's pretty close to an auto include in Control Warrior. I don't know yet if I'm on board with the whole Sarfang N'Zoth stuff for it. Um, Obviously, getting 8 armor twice is not something I complain about, but then I have to put in Sarfang, and that means I also have to put in Bad Frenzy cards. The issue with N'Zoth is that um, if you're trying to get back Crash with N'Zoth, you have to cut Scorpids, and Scorpids are like the best control tool we've seen in the past 3 years, and I don't know if I want to cut them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to cut something to fit all those random cards in. So
Yeah, I also think that
anyways,
cutting Scorpids from a deck that runs Scorpid as something for N'Zoth would be not ideal.
uh, but anyways, thank you very much for responding to the interview. Was writing questions while giving talks on the show, so um, now we can actually get to the hype matches that are coming up. Hopefully.
Yeah, so speaking of matches coming up this weekend, first off, there is no Thursday Throwdown tomorrow in light of the patch coming out. It would not be fair to have people playing on Thursday, unless they obviously scheduled it, and then that's at their own risk. And I would guess that we probably would see very little decks, but they wouldn't be on stream. We're not having Thursday Throwdown this week. Friday, pretty much we don't really have any scheduled matches so far this weekend. So if you're playing and you want to be on stream on any of the days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it can be in the afternoon or the evening for the weekend. Contact Lotus Knight for School Stone, which is Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Contact myself for Saturday night and Saku for Friday night or Sunday night. And you can go to any one of us, and we will direct you to the correct person. Yeah, we're just looking for matches in pretty much any slot within our show. So 8 p.m. at night, and or 9 at first Sundays it's 9 at night on, and then 8 p.m. the other nights.
To see most on stream, but there's nothing so far. Guys, get on stream. What are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of people are playing before the week, so there's quite a lot of people playing tonight, and maybe tomorrow afternoon, before or like tomorrow morning ish. So yeah, we wish everybody the best navigating with the upcoming mini set. It's gonna be great to see how it shakes things up in the next coming weeks, heading into playoffs for Legacy and Pro. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be having our semifinals, and for Hero and Wild, we still got a few weeks left. So keep on grinding out, and thank you so much, obviously, nice Milo, for coming on the show. It was an absolute blast.
No problem. Happy to be here and glad that this time I'm on the show. My teams are still in contention for playoffs. Uh,
Oh yeah,
it's a
last
pleasure.
season we had your team was. It's great to see your teams all doing
Just
well.
gotta clinch that.
I don't know. I was looking at the legacy roster, and I have to say, I'm no turtle. My back is starting to get a little sore, so we'll have
Oh
to see how
man.
the season continues.
Yeah.
Look, for my sake, I really hope to not see you guys in playoffs, because then my team will probably have a higher chance of getting in. But I really do wish you the best of luck against Lotus Knight.
Yeah. Definitely.
Wait, why are you wishing me luck? He's on your team. Shouldn't you be rooting for Lotus?
No, I am. I am rooting for Lotus, but I'm not gonna. But like it, I don't know. I don't always have it in me to just be like, yeah, I hope you lose. Like obviously, I don't want to. I want to see it be a good match, and whoever wins wins, right? Like I want Lotus to win because he's my teammate, and our team is pushing for playoffs. But yeah, there is a match completed there. Buse took a 3-1 win. So good start for Orcs, and obviously Inoyo's not out of it yet. With 4 matches left to play, so we'll see we'll see where we stand next week. Because I'm guessing we're gonna have at least one. We're gonna have at least the Orcs versus Tonk match very likely being talked about. So
Yeah,
definitely.
it's very sweet of you, Fish.
Yeah.
But don't worry. I hope both of you lose.
Yeah, you do. I know you do. You want playoffs really. We all want playoffs really bad. I think I think I can root. I think I can root for my team to win and root for good matches at the same time. So we're gonna have that happen. That's what we all want to see. Good Hearthstone is good Hearthstone is good Hearthstone. Yeah, at this point we're probably rambling on a bit too much, and the people just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna close this out. Thank you so much for watching Tavern Talk. We will be back obviously next week, same time, same place. Look for the matches on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And stay safe out there, everybody. And just please remember, or I should once again bring up our donation goal and everything. If you feel the need to, if you feel like you want to give some amount extra out of your pocket, it would be very much appreciated to help support Trevor Project. So have a great night, everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye.